Welcome back to the review here at OSG Sports. Running the anchor leg this week, JT Crabtree, voice of South Alabama. And I kind of buried the lead here a little bit, JT. Mobile native JT Crabtree,
That's right.
voice of the Jags. And you got to be there front and center. Well, actually, not front and center. You were probably up a little bit in like a confined space at Boone Pickens as the Jags knocked off Oklahoma State 33-7. It looked, just looking at box scores and highlights, it looked like it was a cruise. Was it a cruise for USA?
It was surprisingly so. We got off to a 3-0 start, and then we force us another 3 and out. We go back out. We score a touchdown. It's 10-0. And who would have thought 10-0 on the road at Oklahoma State would have been enough? Held into 7 points overall, win at 33-7. And it's only our second ever Power 5 victory. The other was 2016 against Mississippi State. And we won that game because Mississippi State missed a field goal at the end. They hit the upright. We won this game at Oklahoma State. It wasn't a fluke. We didn't need to hurdle over a guy to get to the 5-yard line on the last drive. We didn't need someone to doink one off of an upright. We won this football game. Without a doubt, we kept talking. We dominated. We really did. It was a cruise game for us.
Was it, now that you've had a chance to kind of sit back, does it blow you away? Or I guess what's the level of emotion here, knowing that USA just went into Stillwater, basically took OSU's lunch money, and since it's Boone Pickens lunch money, that's a lot of money. You went in there, you dominated 23-0 at the half, and then it was just, what has been the response been like, and has it sunk in yet on campus that this actually went down the way that it did?
Yeah, it lines up really well that this coming week's going to be homecoming too. And so we're going to have a great home showing already. But I've already seen on social media, folks are flying out of the woodwork saying, hey, how can I buy a ticket? I walked in the office this morning and one of our sponsorship clients called me, hey, man, great win. Can you get me some tickets? And it's, of course, yes. But it's been really exciting. The whole push for the athletic department, not only just football, but has been kind of better planting the flag of South Alabama in Mobile. Because obviously with Alabama and Auburn, we know that we're got some competition in town and whatnot. But we're trying to push to folks, hey, you can say Roll Tide and War Eagle and still say Go Jags at the same time. And so we're trying to do a better job of that. And it's really starting to grab hold this year. And Saturday definitely helped out a lot.
Coming into this season, knowing that the Fun Belt is, in fact, the Fun Belt and the 75 teams that are in the conference, what were the expectations coming into the year for USA in one of the craziest conferences when it comes to Division I football?
Yeah, we were feeling, honestly, probably for the first time in our program's history, we felt good coming into a season. And we've only played football since 2009. We haven't been around for a very long time. And we returned 18 starters, and they were all bona fide playmakers for us. Returned a couple of guys that had been hurt from last year that were starters the year before. So we're thinking, great, we're in a position. We won 10 games last year. We've got all these guys coming back. Our head coach, both coordinators are back. We can do this. And, come out against Tulane, play a little flat. Didn't look great against Southeastern, and we were tied at the half with them 7-7. And so we're thinking, oh, man, maybe the expectations were a little too high. And then we come out at OSU and we did what we've been expecting us to do all year. It kind of lights the fire a little bit again. They were kind of calmed, if you will, but really it seems like I'm still on that emotional high from it, obviously.
Nothing wrong with that, brother.
But hopefully, I keep reminding myself, I've been here since the program started in 2009. And I keep reminding myself, okay, we've notoriously had the hangover game. We beat Mississippi State in 2016, then lost to Georgia Southern the next week. We beat Troy the week after they beat LSU in 2017. And then I can't even remember who it was, but then the week after beating Troy, we lose. And so it's how do you avoid that hangover this week with Central Michigan is going to be the big thing for us this week is, okay, you got the big win. You got everybody's attention. You got the win and the check on the road at Stillwater. How do you make sure you get the win after that when you come back home?
Okay, so for those who haven't had the chance to see you in the first 3 games, whether they're dialing you up on whatever their favorite device is, You and I are getting ready for the homecoming game with Central Michigan, and we're sitting there and we're going chip, chip, chip a while we know you're coming. We're in the booth, open rolls, title card over wide, Central Michigan versus University of South Alabama. I toss to you, and it's like, all right, so who are my players that I need to focus on if I haven't seen USA at any point this year in the first 3 games? Who's in the spot shadow for JT Crabtree when it comes to players to watch?
Let's look at 3 guys. How about that? Offensively, Carter Bradley at quarterback, a Toledo transfer 2 years ago. Last year, starts every game. He shatters just about every single passing record in program history. And believe it or not, I know I said we're young, but still in the previous 14 seasons of football, we've never had the same starting quarterback from one season come back for the next. Carter Bradley's the first, and he really makes the offense hum, especially when he's got the second guy to watch, LaDamian Webb at running back. He had just a tremendous game at Oklahoma State, 18 carries, 151 yards. He averaged 8.4 yards a carry, 2 touchdowns as well. He was banged up the first 2 games. He was on a little bit of a pitch count, so to speak, because he was recovering from an offseason surgery. He seems to be back 100% now. And so if he's really going on all cylinders, watch out for him. And then defensively, Yam Banks, he's listed as our Husky. It's really kind of our nickel back guy. We run a 4-2-5 defense, and you'll see him play in the box defensively. You'll see him out wide, cover guys in the slot. You'll see him play up top as a true free safety sometimes as well. Yam Banks really is the heart and soul of our defense, who was a guy who was a nobody. And then Kane Womack comes in a couple of years ago, transforms him into a star, and he really started to take off. And now he's, last year in some respects, he was a All-American. So those are the 3 guys. If you've never heard of the Jags, I would keep an eye out for the names of Carter Bradley, LaDamian Webb, and Yam Banks.
And Carter and LaDamian, I mean, they had the same amount of output on both sides of the ball. It was close. Yeah. 152 and 151. were they like sharing intel? It's like, okay, dude, I must have 130. Okay, so here's what you gotta do. When it comes to the program in and of itself, those of us of a certain vintage remember when it began, remember Joey Jones, remember all of the inroads that it took to get this thing off the ground, and see how USA has continued to grow. What's it been like for you as an OG to see it continue, grow, and evolve, and have a seminal moment in a program like this?
Yeah, it's exciting because I mentioned I've been here since it started in 2009, and I was a student then. My freshman year of college was the first year of football. So I'm a Mobile native. I'm a South grad. And so I know a part of South's history without football. I grew up going to games at Eddie Stanky Field. I remember going to alumni games and seeing Luis Gonzalez and John Lieber and all the greats come back to campus. And so seeing now not only the program, but campus grow with football has been really exciting. And seeing Mobile take ownership of this team as their hometown team has been really exciting as well. And so I think the win Saturday kind of showed everybody, not only regionally or nationally or whatever, but really the folks in Mobile, look what this team can do. Look what we can do in our own backyard. You don't have to go 4 hours north of Tuscaloosa. You don't have to go 3.5 to Auburn. You can get that kind of football in your own backyard. And I think people are starting to realize that a little bit more. But like you said, as a Mobile native and a South grad, and I've been here since it started, it's really exciting to see us finally fully tap into the potential that we thought we'd had for several years building up.
And you look at everything in after this homecoming game coming up. I don't want to look ahead, but I'm going to look ahead.
Sure.
You've got that game coming up against JMAD, and that's going to be an early marker for you in the Sun Belt this year. When you look at the conference, for someone who hasn't seen Sun Belt football this year, what are you looking at from the conference on the whole as to contenders to chasing after division crowns?
Yeah, that's a big measuring stick, man. James Madison really came in last year, first year of FBS football, and they hit the ground running. I mean, they didn't seem to be affected by the transition at all last year. And I think that's going to be the case again. I mean, shoot, look what they did to Troy this past weekend. They held them to negative 12 rushing yards. That's pretty darn impressive. I don't care who you're playing. And so I'm curious what that's going to be. It's a measuring stick for us. We've never played James Madison in football. The game has been sold out for several weeks from what we've been told. So it should be a great environment. It's our first conference game. I know JMU actually, obviously they had theirs this weekend. So, I'm excited, man. It's good football. The Sun Belt Conference has defeated a Power Five opponent in each of the first 3 weeks of the football season so far this year. So I'm excited to see it continue. I haven't looked at what the full Week 5 slate is, but I imagine that the South JMU game is going to be pretty darn good of a matchup overall that week.
All right. So since you've teased it, I'm going to go ahead and look. So let's go. Let's go. Since you said Week 5. All right. So let's go to Week 5. Let's go to the schedule, and let's go to conference schedules, and we'll go to Fun Belt.
All right.
See what we've got here. Okay. So Troy at Georgia State, USA at JMAD, ODU at Marshall, App State at Monroe, Texas State at Southern Miss. That's sneaky good.
Okay.
Louisiana at Minnesota. That's a window for Louisiana.
Yes.
Ark State and UMass, and Coastal at Georgia Southern. So there's some Palace intrigue in week number 5.
Okay. I like it. The Sun Belt Conference has been really exciting the last couple of years because before you had, 2 or 3 teams that were, okay, you're going to get to your bowl game. You're going to make a little bit of noise here or there. But now you've got teams legitimately winning big time games week in and week out, and teams pushing to be in the top 25 week in and week out, which is really exciting. So I'm pumped for what the conference has in store moving forward.
We traditionally are here at OSG Sports as well. At JT Crabtree, if I could get my upper plate to work. At JT Crabtree USA. That's because he's JT Crabtree and he went to USA, University
That's right.
of Alabama. That's where he is on the 280 character app. And by the way, if you do not follow him, please do. And then what you can also do is you can catch Booth Cam from the time in Stillwater and some of the audio from the 33-7 win for USA and Oak State. JT, I know that your dossier is full and your dance card is very, very busy. Thanks for coming on with us and running the anchor leg this week. Big win for USA, not just in Oak State, but for the program as well. Thanks for hanging out with us, my friend.
I appreciate you having me on, man. It's always fun to talk the good gospel of Jags football. So appreciate you having me on, man.
That's the anchor leg. When we come back, we're going to preview the week coming up and then football on a budget. Would you go to a game with a get-in price of $10 or below? We'll give you that list coming up. The review continues after this.